Today on Everyday with Your Computer, we're going to look at a situation that we have seen people encounter in the use of the computer. You buy a computer today, comes in very fast, comes in very efficient. You boot your system very fast. In a matter of a few seconds, you are in your graphic user interface and you shut the computer down very fast. But after some time, we get to realize that the same computer that was very fast becomes slow in the boot process. Today we are going to show you what you can do to be able to make your computer boot up faster. There's nothing as frustrating as to boot a computer and have to wait for so long for it to be able to get to a level where you can start using it. The first thing you need to do is there's something called BIOS. Every computer has a BIOS. It comes with a basic input and output configuration of your computer, and every computer has it, be it a laptop, be it a desktop. Now the mood and the process of which you access your BIOS is different in every computer. Some computers, as you just boot them and you press delete, it takes you to your setup or your BIOS, while other ones, when you press your escape button, it takes you there. Some others rely on you pressing F2. But whatever your own config might be, once you are able to access your BIOS, there are very few tweaks that you can do, and it can actually boot up your system faster. Number one, you have to enable quick boot. I have found that setting is prevalent in desktop systems. But if you have a laptop that has that particular feature, you have to enable the quick boot. And the next thing you need to do in your BIOS is that you have to make sure your hard drive is the first boot device. Once you boot into your BIOS and you enter your BIOS, you press any of those keys I have mentioned and enter your BIOS, you are going to see a drop down of different boot options that you can maximize. So what you now need to do is to make your hard drive the first. In some systems you can boot into a USB device, you can boot into your CD-ROM, you can boot into your network device, and depending on your configuration, it might have been starting from the network and comes to the CD-ROM before it even gets to the hard drive, which is where your operating system is. So it is from there that you can then increase the speed of which you boot into your system by making sure that your hard drive is the first boot device that is enabled. That way you won't have any problem. You will just see a difference in your boot up process. The next thing you need to do is that you need to clear out and clean out programs that launch and start up automatically. The next thing that you need to do in order to speed up your boot up process is for you to change your boot menu's timer value. That means simply means that if you have dual boot your computer, that means you have more than one operating system, you can actually reduce the amount of time that Windows waits for you to select or make different selections in the boot up process. So I will just take it to my computer now, and I'm going to show you how you can reduce that time. By default it is 30 seconds. So why do you have to wait 30 seconds for things, for different boot up timings, when you can actually wait for 5 seconds, 3 seconds? So I'll take it to my computer now, and I'm going to show you how you can reduce that time, and that will also actually add to speed of your boot up process. So you go to the same MS config that I had showed you before. You type msconfig, then you now click on where you have boot. Okay, can you see timeout? My own, I kept it at 10 seconds. I kept it at 10 seconds, but in your own you might likely see 30 seconds. So you reduce it to the amount of time that is fast enough to make any selections you want to make and move on. It can be 5 seconds, it can be 7 seconds, it can be 8 seconds, but just keep it at a time value that that it will speed up your work. Just quickly make your selection and move on. Or if it has to choose a particular one by default, it quickly chooses it and moves. Instead of counting 30 seconds before moving, it actually is a way of delaying your boot up process. So this is another method that you can actually speed up your boot up process. These are tested and trusted strategies that has worked for many, and I'm sure that it will work for you too. The next thing that you need to do to be able to get this done is for you to disable unused hardware. Now that simply means that if there's a particular hardware in your computer that you are not using, that does not stop the operating system from loading it at startup. When your operating system loads, it has to instantiate every single hardware on your computer. That means that it's set up and ready for use. When you activate the software that's supposed to power that hardware, that's when you now get to use it. But any hardware that is on your computer that is not useful anymore, disable it. Let me take you to my device manager. Now you go to your start menu, right click on computer, click on property. Now when you click on properties, you can see where you have device manager. Now you click on device manager, and it loads up the device manager application. Now can you see these are the hardware that are on my computer? If you want to disable a particular hardware that you're not using, just click on it, right click on the hardware. Can you see disable? Can you see disable? Now if you can see disable, just click on disable. I will ask you, disabling this device will cause it to stop functioning. Do you really want to disable it? Then you just click on yes, or you say no. I will say no because almost all the hardware I'm saying there are being actively used on my computer, so I'm not going to say yes, but I'll just say no. But on your computer, I will need you to go through device manager. Just look at it. There are some hardware that you are not using. Maybe you had bought a camera previously, installed the camera, and but you're not using the camera again. Uninstall it from your device manager, so that Windows will not have to bother loading it at your boot up process, and that can all actually delay you and make your boot up slow. So we're going to take a break now. When we're back, I'm going to take you through some other things that you can do that can actually speed up your boot up process. I want you to stay with me and don't go anywhere. This is what you must know, and it will actually speed up and help you to work better and work faster and achieve more. So stay around. If you're just joining us, we have been on to how you can speed up your boot process. Now I'm going to take you through the next few things. We have in the previous, before we went for the break, we have looked at different things that you can do. We've looked at how you can disable some programs that are starting automatically. We have told you how you can disable some hardware that Windows attempts to initialize in your boot up process. We have told you how you can do some few things, and it will speed up your computer and make it boot faster. In this next phase, I'm going to show you some few other things that you can do, and believe me, it can actually speed up. It's not the all everything about it. You may get online and you may see some other things that people are doing, but these ones are the tested and trusted, and it has worked for many, and it should work for you. If you missed it, you can get online. It only was about dynamicage.org and just look at the previous section and get to know what we have been talking about. Now, the next thing that you can do to speed up your boot process is for you to make sure you install a good antivirus. The next thing that you can do that can speed up your boot process is for you to make sure that you disable or hide fonts that you are not using. Now, when you are working with Microsoft Word, it comes with many fonts. If you are into Photoshop designs, you will see many fonts that comes with it. If you are into different kinds of designs, most of those programs, they come with many fonts. And believe me, the more the fonts you get to deal with, by default, Windows 7 gets to load about 200 fonts when it is booting up. Now, the time that it takes to be able to load up these fonts may be negligible, but of course, the more it is, the more fonts it gets to load at startup, the more the computer will take time to load up. So what you need to do, there are some fonts that are very, very funny, and I know that you don't get to use them. Personally, I only use about three different fonts. I rarely go to use all the fonts that I see in Microsoft Word. I rarely use them. So what you need to do is for you to disable these fonts. Now I am going to show you how you can hide the fonts. You are not uninstalling the fonts from the computer. You are not removing it. You're just hiding it. When you hide it, Windows will not attempt to load that font at startup. What it will just, you will just proceed load the font that is not hidden for you to use. So I'm just going to take you to my computer right now, and I'm going to show you how you can hide fonts and make your computer boot faster. So come with me. So for you to be able to hide some fonts such that they can be, when your computer is booting, Windows will not have to load those particular fonts. You go to your start menu. If you're using Windows 7, just click start menu, type fonts. Can you see fonts there? Good. So you can just click on fonts and it will load up fonts for you. Just give it some time, depending on how many fonts you have on your computer. Usually sometimes it will take some time to load. So it all depends on how many fonts you have. I should have many fonts on my computer because of the programs that are there. Can you see the fonts that are loaded? These are fonts that are on my computer. There are 348 fonts that are on my computer that are loaded every time my computer boots up. So now I don't use all of this. I don't use all of this. Take this one is mathematical fonts, but look at all these ones. Who uses these fonts? I don't use them, so I can afford to hide them. I think it's already hidden. That's why it's grayed out. So these are the ones that are still usable. I have already hidden most of those fonts on my computer. So if you want to hide yours, all you have to do is find the font that you have not used and you may never use. Click on the fonts. Take for example this one now. Click on the fonts. Then when you look at this, you click on this font now, you can see it gives you different things you can do with the font. You can preview it, you can delete it, you can hide it. If you preview the font, that's how the font looks like. It gives you how the font looks like in different sizes: 12, 18, 24, 36, 48, and just shows you how the font can be, and shows you how the font will be in small letters, capital letters, and numbers and special characters. So it just gives you a preview of what that font will look like, and you will get to know, oh, if this font will be useful to me or not. So you just go ahead and hide it. Please don't delete the font. I don't think it's the best idea for you to delete the font unless you know absolutely that I can never ever use this kind of font. Now if that's the case, you can go ahead and delete it. You won't spoil anything. You will not crash your computer. You will not spoil anything. Just remove the font. So, but my advice to you as your friend is that just hide the font, and that will do the same thing. That will have the same effect on your operating system as if you had deleted it. Windows will not load that font again whenever you're working on your computer. So that solves it. That solves it. So all you now need to do is to close this and move on. Just look at your fonts, all of them, not one, not two. If you disable only one font, the effect will not be seen, because of course the time it takes to load a font is very negligible. It's not something that should really can be felt. But if you can disable at least 100 fonts, 100 or 150 fonts, you can be sure that you will achieve a whole lot. I told you, I as a person, I don't use more than 3-4 fonts, so I can afford to take out 100 fonts from my system, and there will be no challenge, there will be no problem. So I just close this. Now the next thing that you can do that can actually really speed up your boot process and is for you to upgrade your RAM. When you pick out a RAM and say you want to replace it, please take the RAM to where it is sold, because that not all RAM sticks are the same. It may be the same capacity, the same 4 gig, but they don't fit in the same way. So make sure you either go with your laptop to where it is sold, or if you can remove it, you take out the RAM by yourself and take it to where it is sold, so that you are sure that you're being given the same thing that was in your computer. Even if you're ordering it or buying it from anywhere that you don't have to be there physically, just be sure that you let them see what you took out on your computer, and they know exactly that this is what you took out. And when you also buy it, make sure that they write the number on that RAM on the receipt, so that in case you fit it into your laptop and it doesn't work. I'm telling you by experience that I bought a RAM and I fixed on my computer, it didn't work. So I had to go back and change it, because the only thing that helped me was that they had written the number on the RAM on the receipt. So always insist that the number on that RAM should be written on the receipt, so that in case you fit it into your computer and it doesn't work, you can always return it to where you bought it from. So upgrading your RAM will really speed up your boot up process and make your computer, the entire experience, faster and better. So think of it. It will cost you money. These are the things that you will do. This one will cost you. The other ones I have told you are just tweaks and tips that you can apply, and you can be able to achieve some level of speed. But this one will cost you some money to be able to achieve. The next thing that you will do that will speed up your boot up process is for you to upgrade your hard drive system from a normal hard drive, maybe a SATA hard drive, to a solid state drive. A solid state drive is a more recent technology. It enables files and folders to be read speedily and access speedily. It is more expensive than the normal hard drive. It is a lot more expensive than the normal SATA hard drive. Yes, when it comes to capacity, they have not reached the level of capacity that normal SATA hard drive can afford you. Like if you can find a 250 gigs SSD drive, it's very, very expensive. It's very expensive. When you compare it, it can even be more expensive than a 1 terabyte SATA hard drive. Yes, it can be more expensive than a 1 terabyte hard drive. So you have to weigh your options. If you really want speed, consider upgrading your hard drive to a solid state drive. Yes, the interface is still the same, but the technology of the drive is different. So you just look at upgrading your hard drive. Your hard drive is a major culprit when it comes to achieving speed in your processing, from boot up to processing to shutdown. So you need to be able to change it to a solid state drive. These two will cost you some money. So you have to look at where your options, think about the space, think about the speed, and think about the cost. If you can afford it, it's good for you. But if you cannot, then you have to look at other things I have told you to do and see if they're going to make you achieve some level of speed in your boot up process. The last thing that you need to do to achieve is some speed in your boot up is for you to reinstall your operating system. Now if you're using current laptops, they have a recovery partition where you can set the computer back to factory settings. It's there in current systems. But if you're using much older computers, or if you're using a desktop, most desktops that are actually cloned and not branded desktop. If you're using a branded desktop, you can have a recovery partition. But if you're using a cloned desktop, you have to install it manually. Then if for any reason you want to move from one operating system to another operating system, it may involve you reformatting the entire hard drive and installing a new operating system. Whatever be your option, whatever be your need, one of the things that you can do that can actually make you to have some speed in your boot up process is for you to reinstall your operating system. Once you do that, of course, you know that you have not installed a fresh program, so there is no program that may be starting automatically on you. Your hardware, everything comes fresh and new, so you just see that automatically your computer begins to boot faster. But of course, don't forget that it was just like that when you bought that system newly. As time goes on, the same computer will begin to boot slow again if you don't put some things in place. Once you install your system, make sure you install a good antivirus. Don't allow negative things to accumulate on your system, over time before you now think of installing an antivirus. Once you reformat, make sure what follows it is a good antivirus. Make sure what follows is a good antivirus. And once you do that, you realize that you will achieve a faster speed when you're booting your computer. So that's where we're going to end for today. It was fun being with you on Every Day with Your Computer. I hope that this program today was helpful to you, and I believe that it is going to enable you to be able to have a faster and a better computing. Once you can boot faster, of course you'll be happier, and you'll be able to do a lot more for the day. So I thank you for being with me today, and I will look forward to seeing you again on this same program, this same station, by next week. We need sponsors on this program. This program may not be able to run for so long without people, putting in something to keep it running. You don't have to take up the entire bill. Just a few things, camera, few things that we need to get the program running. Just, we will look at how we can also help your business to be able to stand stronger. You will not just invest in this program and go, but we will definitely partner with you to make sure that you are achieving high levels of success. If you get on our website, you will get to see the plan that we have outlined on how we are going to help the businesses that partner with us and assist us to run this program. We have a plan, we have a strategy. So you get on our website, or you give me a call, and I will let you know the different things that we have put in place for businesses, people that will want to make this program to last longer, and make this program to keep helping people and affecting lives. So we look forward to hearing from you. So thank you for being with me today. We'll see you again next time, the same station, the same time. So thank you, and bye-bye.